And what are the important things, the stuff that you more care about in your life?
That. You can't go beyond that, really. The moment you sort of go beyond that, then you're in dangerous, stupid ground. And if we know that, then we just know how to move. I think there's 108 moves in Tai Chi, you know. But the teaching is it's all one move. There's no point at which you can say, and it's impossible actually to ever, you know, where's the move in that? There is actually, in Tai Chi, there are points at which actually something could happen if they were being applied.
Uh-huh.
But actually, it's all one move. Well, that's what life is. It's all one move. It's all one moment. It's all one single moment. It's that. And I've come to know that. You know, maybe in 10 years' time I'll be sitting here saying, yeah, well, I used to believe that that was that. And, you know, I never stop. The moment something becomes a little bit established in my thinking, then I go back to my desk and I write down and I try to deconstruct it. You know, I'm interested only... I mean, I've expressed an absolute, you know, I mean, it is an absolute that the world at this very moment is the only way it could be, because it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've now waited 5 seconds, and the world at the moment is, well, that's a sort of like an unavoidable truth. We're always in the only moment.
Yeah.
If we want to be casual about that, then that's the choice. I don't mind. People want to not even feel the moment, prefer to sort of go to a movie. That's their business. It's not mine. I don't prefer to go to a movie. I know what entertainment's about, and that can be, you know, cheap talk, you know, chit chat. You know, I'm only interested if I'm going to manifest, you know, through Penny Rimbaud being Penny Rimbaud, something, to look for something that has meaning, to share something, some moment that can create some sort of configuration which is better than this obnoxious separateness that people feel. And it is obnoxious to me. That's their choice, and I respect that, but it's obnoxious and unnecessary as well.
Do you have, I wouldn't say habits, things that you do every day, the practice of Tai Chi or meditation, or is something that you do every day, you share with other people?
It's something I don't like talking about, because it then appears to be promotion. And the one thing, I think a lot of people have tried in the past, you know, to sort of share visions, share ideas, and they become, oh yeah, well, I follow Krishnamurti, or I follow...
Yes.
Well, that's, you know, that's the exact opposite of what probably someone like Krishnamurti would want to happen, but it happened. And I'm very determined. It has happened to an extent, you know, that's the Penny Rimbaud of Crass syndrome. And just as I want to deconstruct that, I don't want to allow anyone to start constructing a new sort of role for Penny Rimbaud to play. I'm not interested in that at all. And, you know, I detest that idea, and will do anything to corrupt that idea. So to promote... So, you know, yes, I meditate every day. I don't practice Tai Chi every day, except in my moving through the street or through the countryside. I mean, there are... and meditation is only, you know, I mean, I do, you know, sit silent, you know, with a blank wall, But that blank wall, you know, after years of meditation, this is the blank wall the same. You know, I'm still sitting with a blank wall in front of me. You happen to be there, and that light happens to be there. It's a blank wall. You know, things are passing. It's just the same, and I don't necessarily, you know, there are 1,000 ways that people can arrive at something. Who am I to say that's better? I don't think it's any better or worse. I personally never wanted to be a part of the material world. I never actually have been to any real degree. I've always been, no, I really don't like that, and finding a way around out. You know, and I guess by 74, if you haven't perfected that, or aren't close to perfecting it, then you haven't really spent your life very sensibly. So I'm not putting it forward as an answer. I'm putting it forward as an observation that there appears to be too much suffering. Actually, I could say there's as John Cage once said, you know, there's the precise and perfect amount of suffering, because that accounts for this very moment. You know, if the world is the only way it could be, then it would be very ungracious to say, yeah, well, it's not good enough. Well, actually, it has to be good enough because it's where we're sitting here. And it will go on being good enough because we're sitting here. Whatever's happening, we're sitting here, you know, wherever that might be. So it's a sort of gracious acceptance of life, of what's happening, you know, whether you're a materialist or a not materialist. It's still the same occurrence. And being realistic about it, in fact. I mean, actually, I do believe that most of what I say is very rational and it's very logical. These are events, these are how it works. But if people choose to go on, you know, disturbing themselves with it, then fine, you know, maybe they've got some. Maybe it is good to go around shooting grandmothers, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. I really felt it when you said, like being naked, proud, that proud or pride is something that I don't feel very often, and I don't use the word.
Well, I don't think you can be proud in the sense I'm trying to say, unless you're naked, like these trees are naked and proud, aren't they? Or these blades of grass, or those blackbirds singing are naked and proud. They're just life. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's absolutely true. That's a hard place to be. It's very much that place. You know, it's very much that moment. It is that place, naked and proud. Because you know where, you know, and it's not pride in the sort of human sense, it's just magnificent.
In being.
Yeah, magnificent, yeah. It's a state of joy. It is the state of joy, possibly. Because the moment one moves away from that state, then, you know, the only way you can move away from that state is through projecting either into the past or the future, which of course is how most people live constantly, with a foot in the past and a foot in the future. But, you know, always the magnificent moment is always the one we're in. So, you know, like I said earlier, it's very, very simple, really. You know, this is it.
Yes, but the past conditions.
The ego.
The ego, yeah. I think that is the most difficult to recognize the ego and your real self, your heart. And you also talk about the importance of listening to messages. I mean, we have messages from within all the time. Maybe they manifest in different things in our body, in feelings. And sometimes we don't pay attention to the messages.
If you don't pay attention to the messages, which, you know, I don't know whether they're from the heart or whether they're from the earth itself. I mean, because I don't think they're separable, you know, from life. We don't listen to the messages of life, then we will become ill physically, which is why there's so much illness, because we're not listening. You know, and I mean, a classic and wonderful example of that is, you know, that when I first started practice, I decided I'd go on retreat, so I started going on retreats, Zen Buddhist retreats. And, you know, after a year or two, I started feeling, oh, you know, I'm getting pretty good at this Zen stuff. You know, ego was starting to creep back in, you know, and it was creeping into my practice. You know, I would sit down feeling a little bit dignified and, you know, do all my little puja bits and ring the bell and feel, oh yeah, I'm sort of a member of the club. And that continued for about 3 or 4 years of, you know, feeling just a little bit pleased with myself. You know, the ego will always try and find a leash to put you on.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'd arrived at a state of joy, and the ego thought, yeah, I could deal with that one. You'll become a Zen master. And the net result of that was actually a heart attack. Because the message, I was ignoring the message. I was ignoring actually what Zen really is about, which, and I in effect, it was the end of my relationship with Zen, because I realised that, you know, there were illusions within it that could allow that to happen, which there isn't in Taoism. Taoism is much more fundamental. There's no ritual, there's no anything. There's just the matriarchy, and, you know, like I said yesterday,
Yes.
I believe and know that the matriarchy, which isn't about power of women, it's the power of matriarchy, exists intact, and all the rest is bullshit. Well, I got involved in bullshit, and the natural result of that was a heart attack. And I do feel that, you know, I was waiting for a train when I had the heart attack, and the train came in as it was happening. And I actually almost could see the egotistical self, you know, because it had to get up that morning and had to travel back to London, you know, and the only way you have to use the ego to do those things, to go and buy your ticket, you know, otherwise you can't
Yes.
buy your ticket out of the emptiness. You know, so I actually pretty much could see myself, the ego self, getting onto the train and travelling away. And certainly that's what I increasingly sense, you know, after I'd you know, gone through all the stuff of the heart attack, you know, in the days following it. I was very aware that, you know, a load of baggage had gone. And that was that sort of, that is the materialist naked and proud. I was trying a really stupid trick with myself, you know, like, oh wow, I'm naked and proud, I can become. No, you can't. And it was the first time my heart screamed at me. It said, no, take that. And since then, I'm guided by my heart. That's over.
How long ago was that?
About 3 years, I think.
How did you recover?
Well, I didn't recover. That was the thing. You see, there was a good example there, because I'm having to use my ego to talk. My ego only knows itself. And where I feel joy, it will feel exactly what happened, where I'm almost tearful. Anyway, the recover. I kept getting people would write me, I hope you recover soon. And I kept seeing that, and I thought, hang on, this is recover. Why should I want to cover up again what had been exposed? You know, I had been made completely vulnerable. I mean, it was the heart attack itself, which was, you know, the most painful, magnificent, huge event that had ever occurred to this physical form. You know, I could only describe it as exquisite. It was beautiful. I mean,
Yes.
unbelievably painful. And it went on for about, half an hour or so. And even with all the drugs and stuff they were pumping into her, the pain was just extreme. But beautiful, because it was sort of like saying, well, actually, this is the strength of life. This is what life is. This is this glorious and magnificent force. We've had to put it in, like whatever it is, the message makers, whatever that is. But it's almost like, all right, we'll demonstrate you really what it's about.
Yes.
You can stand up and say naked and proud. This is it. And when I was saying about naked and proud is like a tempest, if I was to tear it away, then I would explode with the same force as that heart attack exploded. Which I can do on my own, but I won't do with other people. Generally. So that vulnerability is, I can remind myself very easily. I can simply recall on that sense of magnificence, of the power of life, which is also the power of death, of course.
Yeah.
And the equal beauty. And whilst I was actually in the heart attack on 2 occasions, or maybe even 3 occasions, I sort of went out, I died, and I was brought back. And at the times I died, I was floating, maybe 20 foot above my own garden. And the garden was just exquisite. The colours and the light, and it was just like heaven. But I wasn't there. And it was a strange feeling of I was seeing it, but I also knew I wasn't there. And that gave me the instruction, the lesson I learned from that. That's exactly it. I am seeing it, but I'm not there. Mm-hmm. And that's what I feel now. I am seeing it, I am relating, but I'm not there. Penny Rimbaud's there. Penny Rimbaud of Crass is here. Penny Rimbaud being Penny Rimbaud is there. But I'm not here.
Where are you?
I'm floating, within and as, the absolute beauty of all of it, be it life or death. I'm neither life nor death. I'm not alive and I'm not dead. I just am. And that's the it. If there's any it about what I feel, that's the it. It's neither this nor that. And it's neither everything or nothing. In Buddhism, there's an expression that form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Well, it's exactly that, and it's a constant circular motion, which can only be affected by that, by the appropriate action. And because we don't actually need or be aware of appropriate action, in other words, that which has a massive demand, we're doing that. That is effectively what's going on all the time. But it's only at dramatic points that we have to be aware of that. So yeah. In a funny way, I mean, maybe this is another discussion. Maybe we shouldn't have it on thingy, but no, we're not going to.
What were you going to say?
It was about the incredible correctness of the earth, how it is always in absolute accord. And there were thoughts that I'm not going to talk about because I need to look at them, and they're the ones that I'll take a lot of interest in, which is what I'll have got out of this conversation as much as anything else. Something else to start tearing apart or opening up. Mm-hmm. To do with weakness, because there's no such thing as weakness within the natural world. Weakness is, to do with our psychological condition. And I was just seeing certain comparisons between what viewed psychologically, things occur within nature, which if we want to sort of, put anthropomorphic interpretations on, we can do, but we're not. That's not correct. A cat has got no evil intent. It's not a killer at all. There's no death involved in a cat, catching a mouse. That's just what's happening in the same way as, the grass is growing. And there is a sort of human nature within that as well. We're not so very far from that, and that's where we are. But I wouldn't want to discuss it because, it could go on, I need to study that, and it's probably,
Yeah, me too.
yeah.
Are you writing something, all of these, and we've been talking about? Are you planning to
No,
do something with all your ideas? No?
no. I write aphorisms, which are sort of like little
Yes.
short thoughts, which are riddles and things that will confuse and worry and juggle people's minds. I'm not in the least bit interested in writing philosophical treatises or spiritual.
There would be another generation of people saying
Totally,
that the new manifest,
yeah.
the new T-shirts with new slogans.
Yeah. So, no, that would be a sort of something I could never do and will never do.
But you agree on the fact that we are going to comment on all these talks and
Well, I really,
maybe write something about that.
Yeah, I came here to sow those seeds. I know what, and I've seen what's happened to a narco punk in Britain, and I only wish that I'd moved in there 30 years ago, but I didn't know what to do. It took me 20 years sitting at my desk trying to work out a way of re-manifesting. How can I come back after that? What have I got to say? How can I put to rights what seems to have gone so wrong with it all? And what we've been talking about is the way I dealt with that. I can see occurring here or in Argentina, the same things as occurred 20, 30 years ago in England. And therefore, that there's the chance of feeling I have got something to say about it now. It took it, and it did take me 20 or 30 years to have the confidence to say, yeah, we can use that. Yeah, those were that was chapter 1. I, for a long time, was thinking it was a dead book. I was thinking that, well, what I did then and what I was manifesting then was crap. It didn't work. But there was aspects in it which were absolutely spot on, like there is no authority but yourself. It has to be interpreted in a different way, and maybe I wasn't even aware of it myself at the time.
Yeah.
So there's bits, and I use bits of that old narrative, to create the new narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Funnily enough, it took an enormous amount of confidence on my behalf in Brazil. I knew it was a tropical place, so I took my sort of white clothes because I know what it's like to wear black in real heat. I always have worn black, and I do wear black. But in Africa, when I first went to Africa, I realised I couldn't wear black because I felt so uncomfortable. So I got white. So I took white in case I got overheated in Brazil. But I turned up at the festival, everyone in black, absolutely everyone without fail. And it's ridiculous, isn't it? I had to, I was staying in a little room a few minutes away from the festival. And I really had to go, I wonder if I dare, actually go in and break the code. Because I didn't want to hurt anyone's feelings or disturb anyone. I didn't want to upset anyone. I just wanted to be comfortable.
Yes.
And I did feel really strange and awkward and realised I was sort of shining out like some sort of strange light in all of this darkness. And then I thought, well, actually, that's nice. Let's put on the lights again. It can appear that I'm incredibly confident, and I'm not at all. Penny Rimbaud, the manifestation, is a hard one. Because Penny Rimbaud, the manifestation, is sort of egotistical and vain and all that stuff.
But you feel comfortable with yourself?
Yeah, because myself isn't Penny Rimbaud, or any manifestation of my ego. And there's no my in it, actually. There isn't a self. So yeah, because those things aren't intellectual. They're not. I don't regard, in that sense, I don't regard myself as a philosopher because I don't intellectualize as such. And I'm much more involved with something which is closer to feelings. You know, so in any statement, what I'm trying to do is to cut through the sort of fibre of the intellect, you know, with something which actually creates a schism, you know, creates a little moment of, that sort of feels strange, you know, strange ideas, which sort of start breaking the construct down. You know, an obvious one is like the appropriate action. You know, if people actually give that any serious thought, and it actually starts happening. Because you have to think it, and then thinking it, it creates it, you know, so there's a lot of sort of jiggery poker, you know, trickery and gameplay in the dialogue.
That's why I told you that I felt lost, or maybe previous to your visit, I could have had hundreds of questions to ask, but rapidly started to fall apart when I started thinking in other things, other stuff, like all this that we've been talking about. And the rest of the questions became almost unimportant to me. Just not wanting you to tell me stuff about records and the lyrics of the songs and who played them.
Well, I think the key in that is, I think that we intrinsically know that we are each other. We intrinsically know the symbiosis. We intrinsically know our interdependence. You are I, and I am you. That, we intrinsically know it. And it's a fearful, magnificent thought.
Yes.
And it's one that's almost impossible. What the ego wants to do is to make use of it. It wants to try to hang on to some structure, because it knows that it will be crushed entirely the moment one acknowledges and moves out into that domain. And that's very significant. So that all of that sort of sense of, oh no, but
Yes.
I know that. And because actually the ego doesn't know how to approach another being without want. You know, so mistaking, you know, like, yes, I am you, then we confuse. Well, the ego will go, oh yeah, that's good, we can have a bit of sex, or yeah, we can have a bit of a party, we'll use it. But that's not it. You know, and also, if you're coming from, you know, the other side of the fence, one has to be very aware of that. That's what you might be appearing to be promoting. The only way around is to be brutally honest and open about that. But yeah, that's the one. I mean, we all know that, and we all know that all of this is irrelevant, because we all know we're actually there. We all know that the world is at peace, but we're not allowing it to be so. And I absolutely believe that. It's there and it's finished. It's over. There's nothing to be done, nothing to be said. It's over. Meanwhile, blah 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 blah.